Sometimes in life, we do things that we later regret. Was having a Larini exhaust fitted to my Lotus Elise one of them? Let's find out. Hello everyone and welcome back to the most informative Lotus channel on YouTube. That's right, I have proof. Show the graphic. If you like to be informed on Lotus topics, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the little bell so you don't miss any future videos. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you may know that I recently had a Larini sports exhaust fitted to my 2007 Lotus Elise. I did a series of comparison videos demonstrating the sound of the original stock exhaust sound and the newly upgraded sound back to back so that you could hear the difference between the two. So in the end, and this is a question I think lots of people have after modifying their car, was it worth it? Would I do it again? And what did it cost? In my case, I purchased the exhaust secondhand, lightly used off of the Lotus Talk forum for $550 plus shipping. I initially wanted to install the exhaust myself to save a little bit of money, and I didn't have some of the tools I needed to install the exhaust, and I wanted to get it done before the end of the driving season, one, so that I could experience it myself, and two, so that I could share it with you here on the channel. So I called up my friend Kirk, the service manager at Aston Martin of New England and Lotus Motorsports, and I asked him how much it would cost to have the exhaust installed. He told me it would be about 2 hours of labor plus an exhaust clamp, and the price was around $300, which I thought was totally reasonable and would ensure that I got the exhaust installed before the end of the driving season. In the end, I'm really glad I had them install it. While installing an aftermarket exhaust on the Lotus Elise isn't terribly difficult, it can be a little bit tricky. Since I purchased the exhaust used, it actually didn't come with the exhaust clamp that it needed. And while the shop ordered a new Lotus part, it actually was a little bit bigger than the aftermarket exhaust needed. And so initially they fitted the clamp that was a little bit too large. It seemed to tighten down, but once they started the car up, they realized that it wasn't holding quite as tightly as it needed to. We ended up having to pull the car back off the lift and grabbing a clamp from a pre-owned Evora exhaust and reworking it a bit so that it would fit. After a few minutes, they got the clamp reworked and it fit perfectly, and the car was ready to go. One thing to look out for if you're installing an exhaust yourself, and this happened with my car, if you do install the exhaust and the clamp is not fully tight and you start the car and run it, the computer may throw a check engine light. In my case, it didn't actually throw the light until after I had left the dealership with the car. I reset the computer with my OBD2 reader and everything was fine, but that is something to keep in mind if you're installing an exhaust yourself. So in the end, was it worth it? All in all, the cost for the exhaust plus installation was around $850, and it sounds fantastic. I love the way it sounds and it's a lot more fun to drive. Larini does state that you might see a small horsepower gain after the exhaust is installed. Without putting the car in a dyno, I'm not going to speculate on whether or not I think there's more power or not. And power wasn't something that I was looking for anyhow with this installation. What I really wanted was a more aggressive sound that better matched the looks of the car. And the Larini both looks and sounds phenomenal. It does exactly what I wanted. So in the end, was it worth the $850? I would say yes. The only caveat to this I can say is that it's something that I forgot about, frankly, when I was shopping for the exhaust. And that is in 2019, I'm hoping to get the Lotus on the track. And from what I understand, certain tracks have different noise requirements, and I've read varying reports that the Larini sports exhaust can be too loud for some tracks. I think I know for sure that it's too loud for Laguna Seca. Now, I'm nowhere near Laguna Seca since I'm on the East Coast, but I was thinking of driving to California at some point this year in the Lotus, and I'd really love to check out Laguna Seca. So it's something I'm going to have to think about and find out more about, and it's possible that I may have to refit the OEM exhaust if I decide to track the car in a serious way. I don't know if the Elise will become my track car. I've never tracked a car before, but I will definitely be getting the car out on track this year. So if there's any regret, I think it's a future regret in the event that the exhaust is too loud for the track. Hopefully that won't be the case, and 99% of my driving won't be on the track anyhow. But if it kept me off the track, then it's something that I probably would go back to the OEM exhaust or look for an exhaust with switchable modes so that I could have a street version of the exhaust and a version of the exhaust that plays well on the track. And like I said, since this is the most informative Lotus channel on YouTube, keep in mind if you are installing an exhaust, especially if you buy one secondhand, that Lotus considers the exhaust clamp to be a non-reusable part. Now, according to my service manager, they've sometimes had to reuse that part, and to quote him, none of the cars have exploded. That worked for me. If that's what I had to do, that's what I would have done. but just think ahead and make sure you have that exhaust clamp before you start an installation. The more you know. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That lets me know that I'm on the right track. And if you really like this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, which makes me want to do a happy dance because after I get 1,000 subscribers, I get paid. Anyhow, thank you for watching the most informative Lotus channel on YouTube. You're welcome.